What's up, guys? It's your boy, That Van Guy, and I'm back here in the shop on a Sunday night when I should be grocery shopping and doing adulting things. But Vuck is more important. I haven't given it any attention for a while. So, yeah, we're going to be deleting some of the factory wiring harness. Basically, all I want is turn signals, brake lights, hazards, and the headlight switch to work. And everything else is going to be on its own standalone 12-volt system since it is carbureted. Eventually it's going to be running a Holley Sniper EFI kit, so I'm not putting too much work into the carb setup. I think if I lean it out a little bit and get it dialed in, I'd be pretty happy with the carb setup because it makes good power, it just runs really rich, and it's kind of unpredictable right now. So I'm not good at tuning carbs. I'm trying to learn, so I know I don't have it tuned right. I know it's way too rich, so I just tried to correct it by messing with the air idle screws. I jetted it down a couple jets, but wasn't quite enough, so I need to go more. And then I cranked a whole lot of timing into it, so it's running between the vacuum advance and the mechanical timing curve that I put in it. It's running close to like 40 degrees of timing at 6,000 RPM, so pretty legit. She gets it when you open it up. It's just the stuff between like idle and like 2,000-3,000 RPM is the stuff that I'm having trouble with right now, getting it to leave the line good. So anyways, that's a bunch of rambling that doesn't really matter right now, because tonight we're going to be installing some gauges I picked up at O'Reilly's. Pretty cool. So you can get these, ooh, it's echoey in here. Get these gauges here where it has your 12-volt system, so it gives you a voltage reader off of your battery, coolant temp, and analog oil pressure gauge. So it comes with the kit, it comes with the lines, all the adapters you need, everything. And then I got a ProTac, so I'm going to set that up in there too. So I'm basically going to be deleting the factory instrument cluster, going full race car. So yeah, and then I'm going to run a GPS speedo. So yeah, there's a couple things I could do to clean up here. I need to delete the ABS, switch to a smaller coolant overflow tank, like those eBay ones. It's like stainless steel, all powder coated and shit. That'll take up less room. Yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Got some ideas boiling up. I miss driving this thing. I also need to order, I think from Summit or Jegs, they make retro, like muscle car, standalone heater kits. So you can wire it in where your factory heater core went and plumb your own lines, because I'm really tired of the ghetto ass heater setup I have. It doesn't really do anything. It works like just enough to be able to drive, but half of the windshield's still frosted or fogged over, which wouldn't be a summertime problem, but I'm sure I'm going to do a lot of springtime mobbing in the sand dunes in this thing once I get it done. So yeah, just trying to wrap it up. I have lots of stuff I need to order, but yeah, lots of expensive stuff I'm talking about. But thanks for tuning in. I'll try to set up some time lapse of me stripping stuff out, put in some generic beats, and get to I cut there's some more. All of that. I actually cut all of that. Everything works except for the now when I turn the key, it doesn't flip on the fuel pump. So I got to figure out which one of these wires I need to jump from here to here to make sure the fuel pump turns on. So I'm going to crawl around and see if I can just figure it out with wire colors. If not, then I got to do some Googling, and if I can't figure out in a short bit of time, I'm just going to put the fuel pump on a switch. So pop, pop, good to go. So should be mint. Thing to know if you want to be a master shitbox mechanic, this is your inertia shutoff switch. In this case, it will disable the circuit for your fuel pump, so that if you get in a car accident or it pinches the wires at some point and they're shorting out or anything like that, it's actually a pretty clever thing. But if something ever happens, this will trip on the inside and cut off the circuit between these two wires here. So now I have a fuel pump again, You can hear it turn on back there. Doing its job. Hell yeah. So just jumped it. I'm gonna properly put those wires together and then start testing these for keyed 12-volt sources. And yeah, should be pretty mint. Okay, so stuff has changed a little bit. I stripped all this back, wrapped it up because it doesn't do anything. This is looped further back. This is all the wiring for the factory heater right here. And these are all like 10 gauge wires. And this is the main ground for all of them. So I think what I'm gonna do with this guy right here is put it back into the factory plug. And then once it's back in the factory plug, I can run a branched ground off of this from like one 10 gauge connector to like three 14 gauge connectors. And then every single one of all these three that aren't the ground, so it'd be the top left, top right, and bottom right, will be a keyed 12-volt source. So it'd be kind of nice. I can run my transmission stuff off of one of them and then run all my gauges off of the other ones. So should be okay, guys. So I wasn't able to get any of the factory heater wiring to boot up and give me some good power because I chopped out the relay at some point. It's just too complicated to go back through and add that wiring, so I just chopped more out. I found this loom, and it's a 12 wire loom of 14 gauge, so I'm stoked. So now I have 12 auxiliary 12-volt wires off of the battery. I soldered a connection on, so it's pretty mint. I just took whatever this is. It's like some not super, or no, not that. Which one is it? Oh, it's this one. Some higher gauge stuff. It's pretty thick. I want to say it's 8 gauge or maybe lower than that, maybe 6, but runs. And I soldered all the ends of those wires like they are on the inside there to this wire, and then heat shrinked it and then electrical taped over it. So those are all live 12 volts now. So pretty stoked on it. Oh dang, looks like I got one more to do. Whoops. But yeah, gonna be sweet. Give me plenty of power to run the gauges and get my transmission stuff hooked back up. And yeah. Okay, we have one working gauge. My rev limiter sit at 6,000, so I set it on 8. It's properly calibrated, so now you can just see. It's set up just right. Okay, I got the battery voltage right over here. Got the tach and my shift linkage all bolted up. Super mint. Gonna finish the rest tomorrow because it's 12 and I work tomorrow at 7. So shout out to you guys for coming through and giving me some entertainment. But yeah, she's a little bit laggy just like me, so it's okay. And I think the battery voltage is off a little bit, but I don't really care. It does something, so that's cool.